Hi, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am so happy to see everyone. My voice is like giving away on me. So we're going to get through it as best we can. Hi, Carlotta. How are you? Good. I'm so happy to have you today. I'm glad that we were able to make this happen. Yes, definitely. All right. So, as always, everybody, thank you for joining me today, Michelle Mapenzi, on Use Your Voice with Trivia's Inspirational Radio. Shout out to Trivia for having a new grandbaby. Yes, definitely want to share some love and show some love to her today and to all of our beautiful sisters with the Ladies League of Baltimore. Shout out to all of you. Hopefully, some of you guys will be watching and tuning in today, or you might even come back for the playback on Trivia's Inspirational Radio. You can listen to Trivia's Inspirational Radio by downloading the app at your Play Store. You can download it on Android or Apple Store. And I promise you, you will love the music on Trivia's Inspirational Radio. Not only does she have awesome shows, but she also has great music. I promise you, that's the station to listen to on your drive home and to work. I'm telling you, you will thoroughly enjoy it, okay?
Yeah.
But with that being said, as always, I start the show with an excerpt from Iyanla Vanzant's book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. And so today I'm still on day 12. I haven't been feeling like another topic yet. I just feel like we still need to focus on choices. And maybe that's because I'm still focusing on choices in my own life. But either way it goes, we're going to still be on the topic of choices today. So, Carlotta, I'm going to read over the excerpt and then give you an opportunity to introduce yourself to the audience. And then we're going to jump right in, okay?
Okay.
All right. So on day 12, Iyanla focuses on choices. And what she says is choices is our ability to recognize the alternatives and possible consequences that we have in our lives, thereby enabling the selection of that which is most desirable for us, admirable for us, and honorable, right? It is the ability to act in response to the recognized alternatives. So basically, we always have alternatives. Now, whether we exercise those alternatives or not are totally up to us, but choices is all about our ability to make a decision, basically. Okay. And then she goes on to say that it's not that we do not realize that we must make choices. For most of us, that's not it. What it really is for most of us, it is the fear of making the wrong choice that prevents us from making choices. Why? She said, because in some cases, the failure to choose is a result of the fear of letting go the old for the new, the familiar for the unfamiliar. And then she says, this is the essence of choice, the ability to make our wishes known, to let go and stand on new and unfamiliar ground. What we do not realize is that choice is a divine teacher. For when we choose, we learn that nothing is ever put in our path without a reason. When we choose to follow the certain path or engage in a certain activity, it is because when we choose to follow a certain path or engage in a certain activity, it is because that choice holds a lesson for us. When we stand still, refusing to choose, we miss the divine opportunity to develop our intuition and obey the whisperings of our heart. That's the part that I like, because we don't realize that when we don't make choices and we stay stuck in situations, blame, shaming, and guilting everybody else, and or just letting fear cripple us, then we don't learn. That's the problem with it. We stay stuck and we don't grow. We become complacent and miserable in many cases. So, Carlotta, I know you want to jump in. You ready to go? So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Carlotta, but when you was reading that, girl, I was over here like, listen, I know all too well about not wanting to make wrong choices, and then you get stuck, and then you find yourself stuck in a place forever, and you like, how I'm gonna get out of this place? How I'm gonna do this? You get scared, but I'm learning to not be scared, to make the choice.
Yeah,
No matter
yeah.
what's going to happen, right? But a little bit about myself. My name is Carlotta Miller. I'm a full-time mom. I'm an entrepreneur. I do life insurance, everyone. I'm the life insurance advocate. That's what they call me. I'm a fully independent life insurance agent, and I also battle with lupus as well. So I'll be talking a little bit about that as well today, and dealing with just juggling that and having teenagers, um, trying to still have family and go out, friends, and all of that together. It's a battle, but it's a battle worth fighting.
Yes, I like to say that it is and can be a challenge, but many of us are meeting that challenge head on, right? And
Yeah,
still doing what it is that we want to do. Suppose of us that are young mothers, young and
yeah.
fly,
Be young.
young and fly. Listen, Carlotta being a little bit younger, it's okay. I'm still young, Carlotta. Okay, just so you know, I am not an old fogey, even though my kids would probably say different. Okay. All right. So, what I really want to get into just right off the break is motherhood, right? And just how you're able. Well, tell us a little bit about your children and just where you are as far as motherhood right now. Do you have small babies, little babies, or older kids? Just tell
So,
us a little bit.
for those that don't know, I have two teenagers because for some reason a lot of people think I had more than two kids because I always have a rack of kids with me. But I
You only got two.
have two, just two. I have two teenagers. They are 16 and 15. They both just had a birthday. One's in the ninth and one's in the 10th. They they encouraged me so much to do better for myself. Now, parenting didn't come with a handbook. I made some mistakes with raising these teenagers, but I'm learning from these mistakes and I'm learning to move forward and to learning how to get better as a mother for them and for myself. You know,
Yeah.
having children will help you better yourself because you realize,
Yeah.
you know what? If I had kids, I probably would have did this or I probably would have did that. And I find myself like, if I get in certain situations, I'm like, I got children to go home to. And then you like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. It's not worth it because I have
Most
children
definitely.
to go home.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was explaining that to my daughter the other day, just yesterday. Just like, don't you know I could be on Instagram and Facebook twerking and, like doing some things? I mean, I really could.
Right.
But I know I have a daughter who is watching me and looking at me and my son. I definitely don't want him out like, yeah, they like, Joe, I saw your mama twerking
Right.
or IG. So it's just I'm just saying, motherhood, we make a lot of choices, not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of our children as well. And it sometimes is a huge sacrifice for us to do it, but we do it because we're mothers, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so business is one of those things that oftentimes gets sacrificed because we're raising our kids. But I feel like both of us have children at that age where now we can kind of jump into our goals and dreams
Yeah.
and some of those things we've been putting off for,
Yeah.
until they got of age, right? And
Right.
so, tell us a little bit about why you made the decision to like jump into business. And I've known you for years now, I like to say, and we'll get into how we know each other. But
Yeah.
I've known you for years. But looking at business and deciding for yourself how you're going to juggle it all, what made you decide to just go on and leap into um,
Going.
business? Mm-hmm.
So, um, now with business, I've done what I'm doing now before years ago. I mean, I think I was about 21, and back
And
then,
we've done it together.
yeah, yeah, we've done it together. And I'm like, back then I didn't know no better. I just knew that I was trying to make some money. So back then it was more so, oh yeah, I'm trying to make a little bit of money. I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. And then it came to me again, during a time where I was working at Good Shepherd, and it was just like, oh, I can do this and work. I can do both, and my job at Good Shepherd was hard because it was like working at a jail basically. And I figured I can do this, but I didn't decide to go full time until I got sick. When I found out I had lupus, it was in 2017, April 2017, and that took a lot because when I first found out, um, I died on the table twice. I died twice. I had strokes. I had seizures. I was in the hospital all the time. I was on over 20 medications when I first found out I had it. I had to learn how to walk and all of that again at 30 something years old, with having two kids, being a single parent. My family helped out when they can, but I still had to do, the majority of the work when it came to raising them and trying to work and trying to do a business. It was hard. It was hard, and it was hard mentally dealing with an illness and still trying to be a better mother or a better person for yourself or a better sister or a better friend or a better employee. It was a struggle at first. I mean, it gets better. It's gotten way better. So it wasn't until a couple of years after that when I'm just gonna do this full time and rock with it. So I did. I started doing it full time. I first started off with Primerica, and then I figured, no, I just want to do business for myself, and I started doing it full time, and I've just been rocking ever since. And let me say, I love what I do. I love the fact that I can help people. I love it.
Yes.
I love
Yes. Yes. And so what I heard in all of that you said in that short period of time was you always had the desire in your heart to be in business for yourself.
it.
But it was circumstances because many of us get taught, we go to school, we get a job, and we raise our families, right? Many of us don't hear you can actually go into business for yourself. So at some point you realize, I might just do this. And then life, I believe, and I could be wrong, tell me, you knew you needed to go full time even before you found out you had lupus,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But then, life happens and we don't really want to give up our security blanket oftentimes that we have in having a job to step out on faith and do other things, right?
exactly.
So basically, you find out you have lupus, and then in your recovery process, which I watched you do it, and I'm sure it was very tough.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side of that, it was like, oh, I think I could do this full time.
Yeah.
And then that became what you were more passionate about. Is that true?
Yes, that is you. You nailed it. Listen, you nailed it. That's absolutely true. I feel like when I got sick during my recovery time, that gave me the push to say, I can try and do this. Maybe if I didn't get sick, I probably wouldn't have pushed myself because, like you said, you get scared. Choices. Going back to choices, we choose to be comfortable, and having a job was is comfortable because I'm gonna make my 40. I'm gonna do my 40 hours. I'm gonna make my money. It's
And
comfortable. Well, for business, you don't know when the money is gonna really come in. You kind of gotta plan it, or do some planning and stuff to get to where you want to be at. So I really think if I didn't get sick, I probably wouldn't have pushed to say I'm gonna go ahead and do this.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's so funny how the circumstances in our lives, often horrific, push us to do things that we know we should do, right?
yeah,
Like Alan said, to give up the familiar for the unfamiliar and make a choice to do what your heart, or she says in the book, the whisperings of your heart is telling you to do, right? And it's oftentimes those tragic moments or those moments that are meant to like really destroy us that we really come out on the other side like a diamond, right? Like just
yeah.
really polished and ready. And so, with you having this experience and then making the decision to start business, how's it been? How you been juggling it? What
Good,
do
man.
you do day to day to stay sane?
So listen, business has when I first started, like just jumped out there, it was like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Now I have to plan this and do this. But now, like today time, it's like such a blessing because now I'm also like coming out of my shell, so to say. Like I bought this banner back here because I will be starting a podcast about life insurance, legacy life grant. I will be starting a podcast this month for life insurance. It's getting me out of my comfort zone. I'm doing more stuff. I put these little buttons for my business, and I'm trying to do more videos because people say you're beautiful. Don't you make videos instead of just posting? Oh, hey, I do life insurance. Don't you make a video saying, "Come talk to me"? I do life insurance. For years, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that when I first started. I would just make a post. Hey, y'all, come contact me. This is life insurance, and that's it. But I'm taking what other people say to heed and say, you know what? You're right. I should do that. I even made a TikTok 3 weeks ago because a business person told me, even though TikTok, a lot of people use it for other things, it's great for business. So I made a TikTok, and my daughters helped me. They put the stuff in there because I know what I'm doing, and it got me business. So it's like I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, getting into the now, how people are doing things now. Okay, you got to talk more. You got to get out there more. So it's helping me personally as well.
Yes, definitely. Now let's talk a little bit about life insurance, right? And just the importance, because you're offering a service, but you're not just offering any old service. You're offering a service that many of us need,
Right.
right? And so what is it that you're passionate about as it relates to helping families with life insurance? What's that passion behind that?
So with me, it's just knowing that helping secure a family. It's like I'm telling you, sometimes I'll talk to clients I don't know for hours on the phone. I don't know. I know the whole family history, business. We don't exchange numbers to do stuff because once I get into it, it's like, oh, this is what you're going to get. But I like to fully explain to them. Okay, this is a term policy. This is how long it is. If you're not sick, you can qualify for this. If you already don't qualify for that, I like to get into depth of what the life insurance is about. And I love the fact that people call me and say, you know what, I'm gonna send my cousin your way because I've talked to other agents, but I haven't talked to an agent like you. I get that all the time. I've had so many people come to me and say, I've talked to a lot of different agents or people that inbox me, but I've never had one with the spirit course.
Yeah.
Because
Nobody that broke it down for
yeah,
them.
because I'm passionate about what I'm doing. It's not just the money. The money is good, but it's for me. It's not just the money. Also, if I'm going to be honest with our people, with us, we're the main ones that don't have it. We're the main ones that don't have the security. We don't understand it. I would say that. So I really love talking to our people because I feel like somebody got to break those generational curses because we all have different generational curses and not have a life insurance and your credit straight and those type of financial things. That's a generational curse in black neighborhoods. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. So
So
that's why I love so much about what you're doing and how you're helping, but not only helping them with life insurance, but also sounds like helping them by educating them on what it is that they need to know about life insurance. Because a lot of people don't realize unless you got 10,000, 50,000 set aside to bury your loved one cash, you may need a policy to do that for you. You
right.
know, so a lot of times it's more of the educating too that I think that's helping you to connect with those families in ways that other people haven't. Mm-hmm.
Education is definitely the biggest part for me. I be so excited, like, well, let me tell you about this and that. I be so excited, like a little kid that's about to get some cake. I be excited, talking to people about life insurance because, like you said, people don't even realize that there are different types. Some
Yep.
people call say, well, what kind of you want to be in a certain amount of years, or how much do you think you'll need to give your kids? People don't understand, even with just not the taking the burial out. We have businesses, we have homes, we have children. If we pass away and we're the breadwinners of the family, who's going to pay for the bills? Who's going to take care of the kids? That so having more than is also essential if you can, because some people unfortunately can't get this the age or whatever. But it's important if you're healthy to take more than just take care of
All right. I don't know if it's my service or your service. Is your service going out? Can you hear me?
no, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yours was going out a little bit. Say that last half again for me.
Okay, I was all right. Tell me what part you heard.
You was just saying towards the end you was basically just saying we have to understand that the differences I guess
Oh
between
yeah, yes.
mhm.
having different types of policy. A lot of people don't know what they are, different types. And I was saying that sometimes it's better to try to get more than just burial insurance, because we have homes, we have children, we have things to take care of. And if we pass away, somebody will have to keep taking care of your children. Somebody will still have to keep the roof over their head. Somebody got to take care of the car insurance. So if you're healthy and you can afford it, get more than what you need, basically, because it's a necessity. I mean, we all gotta die someday. I think a lot of people are afraid to talk about death as well. Some people, you talk about life insurance, they be like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that because I want to jinx myself." But it's not. It's just it's protection. It's
Yes.
and I say this all the time. We got these iPhones and Androids, and we got cars, and we got cable. We pay more for cable. Cable about $200 a month. So if you have insurance on your TV, you got warranty on your TV, you got warranty on your car. Why don't you have warranty on yourself? Why don't you have coverage on yourself? Why don't you have coverage on your children? Because that's what's important. These items
Yes.
aren't important, but we will cover these items. We will our home, our pride and joy, our cars, our pride and joy. But what about your
Right. A lot of people do not realize that, and we wind up in situations where we got to do a GoFundMe,
mm-hmm.
or we got to, split it up amongst the family. And that's what we do. It's no doubt about that. That's what we do. But why not? Why put that burden on others when they're
Right.
already grieving? So I'm grieving and burdensome all at the same time. It can make it so much more difficult. And with children, ain't nobody gonna take care of your kids like mama. We
Right.
know this. But at least the person that's going to take care of your children, at least give them something to work with,
Right. And let me
Um,
back to that part when you said where the family jumps in to help. I've seen it go both ways, and this is why I love what I do, because I've seen families not talk to each other anymore because of death. Oh, so and so couldn't help. They got money, or this person got money, and they beefing over money. And now, grandma not talking to the sister not talking to the mother. The kids can't be raised properly. It's like a snowball effect. So now you got this whole family mad at each other because somebody died and they couldn't take care of it the right way. So they all angry at each other for not helping like they say they should have helped. But if that person would have had a policy, then your child wouldn't be writing about, oh, now I can't go to grandma's house anymore because my mother's not talking to grandma. I've seen it happen where the family comes together and they just get it done. But for the most part, I've seen it go left. It's
oh
like,
yeah, I've seen it
oh,
go left many times
go
myself.
left.
Yeah.
No, and it's not. It's like I'm just trying to break that as much as I can. I'm one person, but one person can get to many. So that's why I like what I love.
Oh, it can go left and it can go left quick.
Yeah.
It can go left real quick. But one of the things that I like about what you're doing is you're able to work with the whole family. So you meet there and sit down with one person, then they can let another person know, and then they can let another. So you can really, when you say break those generational curses,
Yeah.
really begin to work with the whole family to
Yeah.
make sure everybody is covered that can get covered. And I think that's just so significant. And then when I think about you having your own life or death experience, where you could have lost your life, due to the complications you were having with lupus. How
Mhm.
does that weigh into how important it is
Woo!
that people really understand, the service?
So the lupus plays a huge part of the educating for me, because people don't realize once you get sick, you have lupus, you have people have sickle cells, different type of illnesses they didn't ask for. It's so much harder to get life insurance when you get illness. Like even for I'm gonna use myself. If I was trying to go get a policy right now, it's going to be way more than I would have paid being healthy. So I like to talk to people because nobody knows that they're going to get sick. I didn't wake up and say, "Oh yeah, I want to have lupus today." Stuff happens. So the lupus plays a huge part of me educating people, like people in my status or people that's healthy. It's like when I have friends and they have their babies and stuff, I tell them go get a policy for that baby while they're young, because you don't know what will happen. I've had two people I know whose child has died in the last couple of years, and they were babies, you know. So it's like we don't know. We don't know when we're gonna go. It's just best to have it. So having an illness is what actually pushed me more to go fully independent. Um, I love the fact that I got started with Primerica. I love what Primerica, but I don't know everybody Primerica. Um, they do a whole lot of stuff. People that they have complications, and that will push me to go forward and say, I got to.
Yeah, I didn't hear that last part
Uh,
because your video was going out, I mean your sound was going out. But I think what I was hearing you say was you were very grateful for some of the companies that you started out with,
yeah,
like Primerica, and but there was a decision you made to go totally independent for you, but that you understand, what other insurance agents are out doing, or
mhm.
insurance advocates are out doing, to help families. But for you in your heart, it was going with the unfamiliar, which was going on your own.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
which I respect, right?
Right.
Trivia says she can told that was a great question to ask, like how you were able to put your own experience together with what you're doing and how you're educating families. I
Yeah.
think that's what's the driving force when you take up
It,
all
it,
for everything else.
I always talk about myself when I sit down with families. I talk about myself and my situation because I want them to understand that I'm real. I'm not just doing this to get y'all money. I really want to help y'all. I don't. If I want to just get your money, I try to put y'all on the highest policy possible. You know, because I know the numbers. I know the numbers now like the back of my hand. But I don't do that. I want to make sure you can afford it. I want to make sure it's not going to last because it has happened when somebody policy lapsed and somebody died. It happened to somebody in my family that they died and their policy lapsed, and they're like, "Well, can we get? We can't. I can't have that." So that's also why I'm starting the podcast because I want people to see the good, the bad, and the ugly behind life insurance.
Oh, it's good, the bad, and the ugly, honey. It is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, it's all three
Well,
because
let's talk a little bit about that. I know your podcast going to touch on it in a lot more detail. I don't know if it's going to be like a P Valley mixed with Real Housewives of Atlanta. No, I'm just joking. I don't know really what the podcast is going to be, but I'm really excited about hearing what you're going to be doing and how you're going to educate women. But let's just talk about the good. Well, I think we talked about the good side of life
Mhm.
insurance, about how it can help your family, how it can be able to help your family and loved ones move forward as they grieve your death, and continue with life. But let's talk about some of and we talked about the ugly side, how people stop talking with one another and all of that. But what's some of the bad sides that you've experienced since doing life insurance? Can you just give us one example of something that just went horribly wrong?
I'm going to touch on two bad sides. I'm going to touch on as far as the industry itself, and then I'm going to touch on the bad side of just us, the people. So when
Okay, okay.
industry, I feel that a lot of some life insurance companies, I'm not going to say names, but some life insurance companies, some of their policies are crap, and it hurts when I see people come to me with certain policies, and I'm like, "Did you read over this? Like, they're really bad. Some companies are really just out for the money, and I'm like, I need to educate more people about that because some of these policies, when somebody died, they giving them a runaround. They can't pay off anything. So as far as the industry, just like any other business, it has its downsides as well. And I'm going to touch on that because a lot of people don't. And I feel like in a business, you got to touch on everything. I don't think you should just be praising, praising, praising. No, there's some bad side to it too. And you got to know the whole thing to get it together, you know. And as far as the people, us as the people, the bad side is
Wait a minute. Let me stop you right there. I know your second point, but I want to go back to that first point
okay,
you were making in regard to the industry. I'm so sorry.
okay.
But I really want to help people understand why you're saying that some policies are bad
Mhm.
for us versus good for us, right?
Right.
Because what most people don't understand about life insurance, and I'm gonna let you go in a little further, but because I am licensed
Yeah, you
enough.
know.
No, I'm joking. I used to be licensed. I probably should get licensed again. But anyway, because I was licensed at one particular time, I understand that a lot of, and I'm just going to speak on this one side of the industry, which is these accidental life policies that people think they can pay $8 a month or $10 a month and have an accidental death and get paid $1,000,000.
No, but
I see the advertisements all the time, and I hope and pray that people are not falling for that, because those policies, and I'll let you explain it, are not meant to pay out ever. When it brought up, you brought that to my mind when you were saying that some of these policies don't even pay out. What people don't realize is that a lot of them were never meant to even pay out, but just to collect your $8, $10, $12, or whatever.
Yep, you nailed that, and that's the scary part, because a lot of the times what's advertised the most ain't so good for you. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's take McDonald's for example. Advertised everywhere. It's the worst fast food ever, in my opinion. They did a research on it. In my opinion, it's the worst fast food ever. So it's like a lot of stuff a lot of stuff that's advertised for insurance. Some of that stuff I be just looking at the TV like, people really falling for this? Are y'all really getting these type of policies thinking that? And they are. I know, because they're coming to me showing me their policies that their mama or somebody had, and I'm like, no, read the fine print, and we don't read the fine print on a lot of stuff. So me too. So yeah, it's a lot. Also, I will also touch on a lot of the questions that these companies ask me personally. And like I said, when I do this podcast, I'm gonna be stepping on a lot of toes, but I don't care. Me personally, I feel it's targeted towards certain group of people, because they're asking stuff about ADHD for children, and diabetes, all the stuff that a certain class of people have. Those are the main questions you see on life insurance. You don't see a lot of other questions that other nationalities have on there, and it's like they kind of don't want you to get it, type of thing. So
It's a way to weed a certain group of people,
group
and
of
we know
people,
what
yeah,
group of people out of this industry, or
yeah,
protection, we should say, out of
yeah.
this
It's
protection.
like
Mm-hmm.
same thing with credit. You got to be when you're in a better area, or stuff like that with credit. It goes it's good for you. But when you're in the inner city and you got a home inner city home and stuff, they don't look at you the same. Same thing with car insurance. It's life insurance ain't no different. With car insurance, you got to use the county address to get the cheap insurance. Because if you got the city address, what they gonna say? Oh no, that thing gonna go sky high. So life insurance ain't so much different. So
Yeah,
I said with the podcast, I'm going to be touching on everything, and some people might stop talking to me or whatever. I don't care, because I feel like I need to get the information out there to everyone, the good, the bad, and the ugly about life insurance.
definitely. Definitely. I'll let you. Before we get to the other part, you wanted to make a point about,
Mhm.
just speaking on the industry side. What a
Mhm.
lot of people don't understand is, if you are a felon in a lot of
Girl, listen,
cases,
listen,
you are uninsurable. You are
listen,
deemed
listen, listen,
uninsurable. And when
listen.
we think about as many of our black men and women out here catching felonies, and then your loved one tried
Woo!
to protect, themselves, and, just be able to bury you, and you be deemed uninsurable. Touch on that for a bit.
Listen, I can talk about that one all day. That is one of the worst things I hate about the life insurance industry, because I feel like, so for most companies, you have to be cleared for 7 to 10 years. That's too long. If the person is home and they've changed their life and they're doing good, why can't they get a policy? To me, that is just the dumbest question on there. And like I say, it's targeted to a certain group of people, because we're the ones that, like you said, we have a lot of black men and women in jail. Um, as far as the felony thing, that's one of my biggest pet peeves with life insurance, because I had families that were felons, and that friends, and they are doing good and raising their families, but they can't get life insurance, and it's like, it's crazy. Now there are some companies that I work with that the felony can get insured, whole life guaranteed life insurance, but they only can get a certain amount, and it only goes up to 25,000. That's better than nothing, though. But for the most part, most companies won't insure felons at all. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I just wanted to throw that out there. But there's so many different things
it's
about life insurance that we as a community really need to learn. That
yeah,
was one of the reasons when I was doing life insurance, I loved it so much. It was the educating of families that I really love so much. And I remember this, and I don't know if you get it. And then we're going to segue into that second part you wanted to talk about. But when I was working with families, what I would always hear is, why we don't know about this? And is this legal? Like, especially when they would show me their policies, and I would be like, that return of life policy, no, it's not the return of life. It's when you pay into it, and then after a certain time, you don't have to pay into it no more.
yeah,
Yeah, and then when I would show them in the life insurance policy that when they get to a certain year, it would be a zero balance there as the death benefit. And so it's so much. It's not that it's all insurance. I'm not saying that, but at least know the policy that you have. And if you don't know, let someone like Carlotta look at your policy and let you know what it really says. It's like having an attorney look over a contract. Well, let a life insurance advocate look over your life insurance policy to make sure that it's something that is actually going to be beneficial to you and your family. So tell me just some of the things you hear from families when you're out there. Mm-hmm.
I've heard that a lot. Well, I didn't know, is this legal, or can they really do that, or can they deny my family? We paid into this policy for 15, 20 years. I've heard that so much. And it's heartbreaking because it's like, yes, because the person that bought the policy signed that John Hancock on there. So it's very legal because they signed it. So I like to go over people policies, the old policies that they had, and get them a breakdown, like you say, of everything. I also get a lot without people. Some people just don't even know how life insurance works. They be like, so if I get this policy, like, yes, they the education part, we need that more than anything because it makes people understand why it's so important. I think because we aren't really taught about it, that's why people think it's not important. They don't we don't talk about it, so they don't think it's important because they don't know. I've had people that got a whole lot of money, so money not the issue. It's the education. They just don't know where to start. They don't know what's a good policy. So I'm like, oh, you got the funds, but we're gonna have to help you get to the education part of getting the life insurance. But I've seen a lot of bad policies. A lot of bad policies.
Yes. All right. So let's go back to your other point in regard to family. So what's some of the things
So
with families? Mm-hmm.
hey, because we talked about the bad, letting your policy lapse. That's part of the bad. Now, from experience, some of my clients have come back to me. Oh, my policy lapse. I wanna renew it. They try to renew it and they get denied. Now, let me tell y'all, you can get denied for several reasons. You can have health issues like myself. They can say, oh no, this person has a health issue now, we don't want to cover them. I've had people that gain weight and they said, oh, we can't cover them with this policy, they got to get another policy because they gain weight. It's so many reasons they can deny you from the renewal. And also, if you're one of those type of people, because I've had one of these type of people that keep getting policy, and they lapse every 6 months, companies going to deny you. They're gonna say this person can't keep up with a policy to save their life. So they can say no, we don't want to cover that. Because they see that you have a history of policies lapse and lapse and lapse. Now, granted, we all go through stuff happen, but some things is just like, okay, it needs to be just like you take care of your rent and everything like that. You need to be able to do that with your policy. It should be a necessity. It should be, I have money to the side for my life insurance policy in this account, or where however you want to pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of things. Another thing I wanted to plug in, and I'm gonna do it this year myself, is that you can pay your life insurance policy for the year.
Yes, yes, you can
You
pay.
don't have to pay monthly. You don't
Yep,
have to
you
pay
can
quarterly. You can
pay
pay it for the year. Mm-hmm.
months or yearly. Yes, you can. You
Yeah,
can pay
especially doing like when I'm, doing tax time when you have that extra money. Just pay your policy for the year. I just, this is just things I just started thinking about, to give people alternatives since you said a lot of policies lapse. It's like I'm thinking about just paying it for the year and then I don't even have to worry about it until the next year, During tax time, definitely get your policy, not just get one started, but pay it for the whole year. You had the money.
Yeah. The other bad part when I was saying about policy lapsing, I also had one of my cousins, her ex husband passed away during the time that right after the policy lapse. So it's also like awareness. The podcast gonna be awareness because it's like, listen, we just had this policy. It lapsed 20 days ago, 30 days ago, and then someone on that policy passes away. And it's heartbreaking, I've also waiting too late. That's the bad part I wanted to talk about. As far as waiting too late, we have a lot of people say, oh, I'm gonna get my life insurance next month or next year, and then something happens to them or somebody else they was trying to cover, or when they get coverage that person died right away. So I've talked to my clients that are comfortable with coming on the show to talk about those type of things. I have a few lined up that'll say, yeah, I'll talk about this because people
When I think about it, Carlotta, I think about even when I was out training you, when we were doing, and we met with a friend, a friend of yours who had a family that dealt with a serious situation with insurance or whatever like that. I don't know if you remember it. I'll tell you, but they
Okay.
really need to come on and tell that story because they really changed my life. Even when I listened to what happened with their mom. But I hope they come on the podcast. I'm gonna call you and remind you of who
Okay.
it was, so they can all come
We done
because
been
that
on
was
a
a
lot,
major
girl.
story. Hmm.
I said we've been on a lot of interviews together. I'm trying to think which one it was.
No, we went. Yeah, we went on a lot of it, but this particular one, these young people, their mom had passed away, and it was something going on with the policy that it never paid out. But I
Oh.
remember that was like it affected because it was the person had multiple siblings,
Yeah.
that still needed to be taken care of and things like that. They wound up being very resilient in the situation, but still it was very heartbreaking into me when I learned about what actually happened.
Right.
But anyway, so it's a lot that you can learn about families. And one of the things, and I just want you to touch on it a little bit before we move on, is one of the things I learned, one of the things we are aware of just in our community is how post-traumatic stress from slavery affects us even many generations later, right? And
Yeah.
when I was doing life insurance, I realized that it not only just affects us when it comes down to life insurance, but in many areas of our lives, right? What's some of the things that you've learned by working with families as it relates to just racism and just the things that we have to deal with as Black people,
Um,
especially here in Baltimore?
yeah, I've learned a lot. I would say um, depression, dealing with a lot of depression in the Black community, finances, not just life insurance, credit repair, people not knowing or renting instead of owning, um, a lot of mental and damage, spirituality damage in our Black community. Um, I've seen all the way down to the children where kids on medication. Like that. Ooh, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of
It's
work.
like you said, it's a generational curse. It's because grandma didn't know no better, and grandpa before them didn't know no better, and it's just we just treat that little kids. And it's funny that you mentioned about the Black community because podcast, the base of it is life insurance. So I'm just let y'all be the first to know outside of my family. I still have people on there talk about what's going on in the Black community. It's just crazy that you mentioned that because that's part of the podcast. I'm going to have people come and talk about spirituality. I'm going to have someone come and talk about coping with death. I'm going to have someone come and talk about credit. I'm going to have someone coming on and talk about how to buy a house. Things in our community that we need that we just getting.
Yeah, it's important. It's all tied together. It's all
Yep. All
connected.
tied
And
together.
when I think about the Ladies League of Baltimore, one of the things I love about the ladies that are a part is that we all come from all walks of life,
Yeah.
all different backgrounds. And I was just doing the numbers. Over half of us all have small businesses of some sort.
Yeah.
And we're just going to the next level. And so I like that you're going to be bringing people in to talk about all areas of making a family whole, right? From credit to finance to life insurance to home ownership if they desire that, because not everybody desires home ownership. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Some people just don't, and I don't feel like some people should be forced to do it.
Yeah.
But if you have that desire, I think you should know everything you need to know about it, right? And we need to be able to do that for our community, because it's definitely a lack in, us talking about what it is that we need. And you can't hear
Out
me. Oh yeah, the mental. Yes, mental.
that's the mental, because that's where it starts at. That's where it starts up here. So that I definitely will have people coming on and talk about how to cope with different things, depression, because we've all dealt with it, And like growing up, they tell you don't talk about it, or be strong, or be the strong sister or the strong friend. But we need to talk about it. We need an outlet,
We need to talk about it. I was watching a video with Monique earlier today. You know, the comedian Monique and her husband, and there was a falling out between her and DL Hughley recently.
Yeah.
And I was listening to her, and she was like, "Listen, I'm from Baltimore, and this is how we get down, right?" And I was like, "Yes, Mo, tell him, right?" Because what I think, and she was more so talking about Black women. The Black community gets discriminated, I should say, on many levels, on all
Yeah.
levels. It doesn't matter the age, it's just you're Black, right? But then she was talking specifically about Black women and just how much we are disrespected and shunned as far as our voice, right? And that we're not supposed to speak on certain things. And the reason I bring it up is because you was just mentioning, like, we're not supposed to talk about it. But the reason I named the show Use Your Voice is because Black women, we get told not to speak, not to speak. And Monique was talking about how she had gotten raped and molested by her older brother and was told not to speak about it, or not able to speak about it. And it just sent something through my soul, because so many of us get taught not to speak. And that's why this show is Use Your Voice. Use your voice, speak on it.
Speak on it. Speak it and speak it loud.
Speak on it and speak it loud. And even though a lot of people may not agree with everything that Monique says and does, when it comes down to certain things, if you really just strip away all the foolishness, what she's actually sharing is really good for us as women, right? And although people can play sides and do all of that, what I like about it, and I'm just going just a little subset. What I like about it is her and her husband come out on one accord every time. They do not come out divided. And we as a community need to look at that and embrace that and
Yeah.
start to come out together and not divided, right? And when I think about life insurance, so many families are divided over money. Somebody passed away and didn't do this. Or the other flip side I see is that, oh, she ain't leave me no money. I ain't get no
Woo!
money. Or the
Yeah.
house went to her. Or she got this. And then I be just like, why you even worrying about that when somebody passed away?
Yeah, I've seen that too.
And it's that division. What I like about the story with Monique, no matter what the story is, whatever the headline is, her and her husband are always like this. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but when they come out and make a announcement or a video, they be like
Right,
in
exactly.
sync on
That's
one accord.
key.
And that's how it should be. I don't know if behind the scenes he telling her, Mo, you shouldn't have said that now. But
But
when they come out,
in public, we can talk in private, but in public we gonna stick together, and that's how it should be. It
yeah,
ain't
and even if she's wrong, he'll say it, right? He'll be like, well, she may have said it this way or whatever. But I just like that unity. That unity that they got is amazing to watch. And I would love for us to do that as sisters, as women, in our families, because we as women have to bring that to our family, that unity, right? And that connection. Not to say that men shouldn't, but I'm just saying specifically women as the nurturers oftentimes in the family. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. And
Yeah.
touch bases on womanhood, sisterhood with the ladies. I like how they always say, "Oh, black women can't get along. They can't do anything together. It's always bickering back and forth." Which there is a lot of generational curses again. The whole light skin, dark skin, the whole fat versus thin. That's a generational curse. That's something somebody done told this mommy. They done put the grandmother. They done told you, "Oh, you ugly because you just like." We gotta break that. We can be together at all shapes and sizes. Um, we can come together. We ain't got the bigger argue and fight. We can come together and do things together and be positive. So,
Yes.
ladies, y'all, all of you know, she's the leader of the ladies. Quote that right now,
Yes.
Come talk to us because it's a group of sisters that we do things together as one. And yes,
Yes.
if one of us is off track or whatever, we can tell that girl, you just sat in the dirt. But it's out of respect and love, not out of
Yes.
and
Always. Yes, definitely that. You absolutely right. And one thing that we got 10 minutes left in the show, so I want to make sure you're able to plug in everything that you're doing and all that. But before I do that, I want to just educate whoever is listening to this, watching this, go back and listen, go back and watch, so we can educate everybody else. When you see a dark-skinned woman with a lot of melanin, do not make this comment to her or him. You are cute to be dark skinned.
I hate it.
Please do not say that. That is not a compliment. It insinuates that because I'm dark skinned, I'm supposed to be ugly.
Yes.
Do not say that. That is not a compliment. I just want to educate y'all so y'all don't go around seeing us beautiful brown sisters saying stuff that is really offensive. Because my skin tone should never determine whether I am cute or not.
Exactly.
The beauty is in the eye of the beholder. If some people that don't like my forehead and some people who love it, it just doesn't matter. And that could be whether I was lighter skin, darker skin, or what I am today. So I just wanted to educate people on that just a little bit because I'm so sick of hearing it. I swear to goodness. And I know people mean well, but it's not a compliment. What you say, Carlotta?
That's what I say. That's not a compliment. That's
not a compliment. Not at all.
Why people think it is. It's not a compliment. I mean, I'm glad that growing up, I've learned to love myself because, however, we've had a little bit of that too. The light skin, dark skin, not so bad as like my mother age.
Right.
They real bad. But I'm glad that I learned to love myself enough to not care what somebody else thinks. As you get older, I learned everybody got preferences. You can have your preference, but you don't got to knock the next person because of your preference.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But I like to educate people on that. And when people tell me that, I educate them on so they can actually hear what they're saying, because they say it as a compliment. Oh, your skin's so nice, whatever. But my skin would be nice like this if I was lighter, Don. It doesn't matter that it's a little, melanated. It doesn't matter. So I like to educate people on that. All right, I get out my soapbox. Let's go back to the business and the motherhood. But I don't like when people say that at all. But as far as business and motherhood and just all that you're doing, Carlotta, let me just give you a shout out right here, right now, because you could have allowed lupus to keep you down, unmotivated, and just looking for a check. You know what I mean? But how you've been able to turn that around into passion and purpose is commendable to me. It touches my heart. It is so motivating and inspiring. Huh?
Don't be having me crying.
I know, but I'm just saying, I watched you go through that from afar, and I know that it was challenging, and I know that you had choices, is what I'm saying. I know you had some choices, and you had to make some choices that were gonna require you to embark on new and unfamiliar ground, and you did it anyway. And to me, with two beautiful teenage girls, that is commendable. Okay. And in Baltimore City, it is amazing, okay? Because what's happening in our city, what's happening in our world can make you depressed.
Yes.
Okay? Then add lupus, then add everything else that life brings. I'm not surprised many of us are not depressed and on medication, because life, right? But what I seen you do to turn around and make that lupus not just a diagnosis, but a destiny and a purpose and everything for yourself. I just see you blossoming in ways. I'm like, look at her little self. Look at her. And so continue on. I love what you bring to the league. I love what you bring to families and educating them. How can people reach you? How can someone find you? How can they get you connected to look over their policy? How can they find you? Where you at?
You can find me on Facebook. My business page on Facebook is Legacy Life Prep. On Instagram, it's the same thing. On TikTok, it's the same thing. My email address is legacylifeprep@gmail.com. And then I also have a business phone number that I can be reached at any time. If I don't answer, you just leave a message and I'll call back. It's 443-538-1246. My business number again is 443-538-1246. And I'm not the average 9 to 5. If you call me at 9 and I'm up, I'll answer and talk to you about the life insurance. So that's a good thing. And I also wanted to add, when we was talking about my kids, my 16-year-old actually started her own business. So I feel so blessed that she decided to come to me and say, "Mom, I want to do a business," because if I didn't, maybe she wouldn't have, you know. So my 16-year-old has her own business as well.
Yes. What did she do?
She does. It's called Molded by Jay. She does customized molds with the resins, and she also does the necklaces. When somebody passed away and they get the necklaces with the wings and stuff, she just started doing those as well.
Okay, go ahead, hon. Go ahead. Which one of your daughters does that?
Jada, the oldest.
Jada. Okay, Jada. Go on, Jada. All right. And Jada, I think Jada and Maya still communicate, still talk, don't they? That's good. That's good. All right, Jada. That's a great thing. And then, do you have anything coming up? I know you got your podcast coming up. Anything else you want to shout out? A pop-up shop? She go the best pop-up shops, y'all.
Shops. Me and Tracy, she does Eddie B production. She started the pop-up shops. Every month, black owned businesses. Every month, every location that that's outside.
All right, your volume is going out again. You were saying you and Tracy do the pop-up shops, they black owned businesses.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It might be my Wi-Fi here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
So every month we do different black owned businesses. We allow anybody to come and do it. And we do black owned vending spots as well. Like the last one we did that was pretty good. My friend, she has her own boxing and cheerleading place. She has her own gym. We did one there. So we just try to find different black businesses that we can do in the city and the county. Every month we'll be doing it. So look out for that too as well on Facebook and IG. You can follow Eddie B Productions on IG to get more information about that, or just follow me on Facebook and you can see about the pop-up shops as well. So I have the podcast, I had the pop-up shop coming up, and I'm helping my daughter with her business, making it official. So yeah, it's just get excited.
There's a lot going on, right? We rise together. We rise
some
together.
Things going on. Oh, and yes. Lady League. Let's not forget Lady League of Baltimore. We're having our 1-year anniversary, so that's another good thing coming up for me as well. That I'm excited about. Look, I changed my trip so I can make sure I make it to.
I know, right?
I appreciate you. My heart. I was like, no, I got to be there. So.
I'm so happy you did that. It's a great Gatsby theme. So if you like getting dressed up, you like, just throwing it on, come on out. Great Gatsby is like 1920s, just like, we're going to do it big. I'm not even going, we're going to do it big. It's a red black and white event. So come on out and share with us.
Yes.
Carlotta, thank you for coming, girl. It's just been a great conversation, right?
Yes, I
hope
loved it.
somebody was blessed by it. I hope that a million people reach out to you and that you just grow and continue to educate families here in Baltimore and nationwide. I think it's a crisis everywhere. To our sisters in Detroit and our new sisters in Jacksonville, Florida, you never know. Thank you guys so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you. Bye.
Bye. See you later.